Welcome to track number 3 of Birthday Kewa.
The next point is found in Vashti. Esther. Did I say Esther? Yeah, Esther. Now, it's a sad story because, she had so much going for her, isn't it? Vashti was what? Now listen. In the first part of the book, it says, verse chapter 1, it says, now it came to pass in the days of Ahasuerus. Now notice, it said, this is Ahasuerus which reigned from India to Ethiopia. You get it? This is Ahasuerus which reigned from India to Ethiopia. It was not a small king. And the wife of this person was in a very, very privileged position. He reigned from India. This Ahasuerus which reigned from India to Ethiopia over 127 provinces. You know where Ethiopia is? All the way through Asia to India. Not a small thing. In those days where there are no planes. So you can imagine that to go to one end of his kingdom, you had to travel for some years. This Ahasuerus, the one who reigned, he's trying to describe the person whom Vashti did not recognize what she had and where she was. Before she wouldn't say, she said, she wouldn't come. That in those days when the king sat on the throne of his kingdom, which was in Shushan the palace, in the 3rd year of his reign, he made a feast unto all his provinces, princes and his servants, the power of Persia and Media. Alright, verse 4. When he showed the riches of his glorious kingdom and the honor of his excellent majesty, for many days, even 104 score days, 180, that is more than half the year or half of a year, he was showing the splendor of his riches. This Ahasuerus. Everybody say, this Ahasuerus. Yeah. So not a small person at all. How many realize he was a major person? And you are the wife of this person. What more can be done to you? What more can be done to you than has already been done? Whose wife do you want to be? You want to be the wife of this Ahasuerus, is that not so? Now when those days were expired, the king made a feast unto all the people that were present in Shushan, both unto great and small, 7 days in the court of the garden of the king's palace. He had a palace with a court and a garden. He was not a small person. There was a garden, there was a court, and there was a palace. So there's a palace, and there's a court, and then there's a garden. And he made a party in the court of the garden. This is Ahasuerus. The one who reigned from India to Ethiopia. Hey! What more can be, what place can be given to you higher than this place? Now, he made a garden. Now this Vashti, she was someone who was into women's ministry. Oh yeah. She was a women's leader. Not liberation, she was into women's things. Women's ministry. Church women's ministry. Now, in the garden, where were white, green, and blue hangings, fastened with cords of fine linen and purple, to silver rings and pillars of marble. The beds were of gold and silver upon a pavement, the pavement of red and blue and white and black and marble. I mean, think about the pavement, red and blue and white and marble. As you are walking in the pavement, and there were hangings in the garden. Very beautiful and elaborate. Fastened with cords of fine linen and purple to silver rings. You see, there's a pillars of marble with silver rings and fine linen all going around. You know how they do it for weddings? Yeah. Beautiful. Beautiful garden. Beautiful court. Great king. And they gave them to drink in vessels of gold. Okay, you are not going to drink from glass or cups, plastic cups, disposable cups. You are going to drink so that you know that you are drinking from golden cups. What more can be done than has already been done? Huh? No. You see the coffee they brought me. Look at my cup. Gloria, is that what you think of me? He gave them to drink in vessels of gold, the vessels being diverse one from another. That means that each cup was a different design. You see, when you go to a shop, they would have pretty handmade, specially handcrafted for you. It's not produced en masse, like all the same whatever. Each of the golden cups was diverse from another. What more can be done for you than has been done for you? Sister Vashti, we are now coming to her. They are giving the background of the person whom this woman was not prepared to do something for when he said, "Can you do something for me?" She said, Let's read on. Now, the drinking was according to the law. None did compel. For the king had appointed all the officers of his house that they should do according to every man's pleasure. That means, will you have this or will you have that? Do you understand? Because sometimes you go to a place, you get everybody orange squash. Yeah. But this one was everything according to every man's. So what will you have? You want this with this, that with that, this with this, with a special golden cup. Everyone diverse from another. Oh. In fact, now the woman. Also, Vashti made a feast for the women. I told you that, whilst the husband is doing his, she was also doing another women's, She made a feast for the women in the royal house which belonged to the king, Ahasuerus. So the ministry that she was doing and these women, whatever that she was doing, was actually belonged to the king. But see, sometimes when you are doing something and you forget how and why you were able to get into that place. Yeah. One pastor was telling me, he said, my wife, I wanted to give her, I was just giving her like a test. So we were staying in one town. And I said to her, go and start a church in that faraway place. And she was very happy. And he said to me, she doesn't get it. She doesn't get it. How can you live in another country and your husband too lives in another country? You see, marriage is not a union of two independent people. is to be dependent on one another. Do you get it? Even if you have a ministry or you are into certain things. What do you think? Ladies, let me teach you to be dependent. You didn't design it and I didn't design it. If I was to design mine, I would never design it the way it is. Me. And you too. So, you have to accept the higher wisdom of God. That is how God designed it. So even if you have your women's, whatever you are doing, you must know that it belongs to the king. And you must never forget that. Now, on the seventh day, when the heart of the king was merry, which is the only thing that people read, said the man was drunk with wine. He commanded Mehuman, Bista, Harmona, Bigita, Abakta, Zetar, and Kakas. Kakas. The 7 chamberlains that served in the presence of Ahasuerus the king, to bring Vashti the queen before the king with the crown royal, to show the people and the princess her beauty, but she was fair to look on. She was not called to come and be naked. She was going to wear a crown. You don't wear a crown with panties and come there. And the king wasn't calling his wife to wear panties and a crown and come there. That would be stupid. Do you understand? Nobody wears panties with your crown. Have you seen Queen Elizabeth wearing panties and coming there with a crown before? Have you seen one before? With a crown? No. Huh? But the queen refused to come at the king's commandment by his chamberlains. Look at that. You see, after reading the story, you can see that it's quite a serious thing, isn't it? Very serious. I mean, it looks like she was quite an arrogant person. For you to refuse, I mean, it's like, look at the king from India to Ethiopia. 100, I'm coming to the chamberlain. The chamberlains were types of eunuchs. They have been castrated. They are powerless. Do you see? No desire. And they have been sent to bring, and he sent 7 chamberlains, 7 eunuchs, to go and call the queen. That come with your crown and everything, dressed in your royal garb. Come so that everybody will. You are the last treasure that I want to show. You are the last treasure that I have. That I want to show everybody, my last treasure. After I've spent 180 days showing everything. And this last 7 days in the courtyard with the pillars of marble and linen and silver, whatever, with the pavement of red, white, blue, marble and other things. I'm bringing my last treasure on the last day. Come and walk. And she spoils the whole thing. She said, yeah. Huh? What do you think? She refused to come. Therefore, the king was very rough, and his anger burned in him. You see, the point that I want you to see is that it's a day of terror, trouble, and blasphemy. That after all that has been done and prepared for all the 180 days and setting you up as the queen of all this. And I ask you, in the day of birth, to give birth, I ask you in that day, come and just walk with your crown. And you say, I won't go. He said, actually a big problem that is coming. How many can see that a trouble is about to come after the investment has been made? Now, one of the reasons maybe why she wouldn't go is that the people that were sent to call her were chamberlains, powerless. You see, sometimes when God uses someone and sends someone, you see, the person doesn't look powerful to you. Especially as the church has grown, I've seen that problem. When I appoint somebody, and I say, this person is in charge of this, so relate with that person. And people don't want to relate. They say, who is that person? You don't know her. She just came to the church. We were here before this and that and so on. So when they send 7 chamberlains to you, emasculated, castrated, powerless people, 7 of them, they are sent to you that this and that, and you still don't relate with them. Because you see what he said. He said, because she has disobeyed my commandment by the chamberlains. He mentioned them. He said, she has disobeyed my commandment by the chamberlains. What shall be done to her? We are reading. Let's read it and you see. Then the king said to the wise men, which knew the times, for so was the king's manner toward all that knew law and judgment. He was a man of law and judgment. And we want to know what is right, what is good to do at this time. And the next unto him was Kashena, Shetar, Admata, Tashish, Meres, Masena, and Memucan, the 7 princes of Persia and Media, which saw the king's face, and which sat the first in the kingdom. You see, these are privileges. You see somebody's face, it's a privilege. People are hearing tapes, people are hearing voices, but you see the persons and you sit first. What do you think? But you see, it was mentioned, so you have to take note of it. What shall we do unto the queen Vashti according to law? Because she has not performed the commandment of the king Ahasuerus by the chamberlains. She has not observed the king's commandment by who? By the chamberlain. God will send chamberlains. And when you see them, you say, but you don't have balls. What are you coming to tell me at this time? Your testicles have been removed. Until now you have become very big. The chamberlain, the eunuchs, they were used to bath queens. They bath the queens because they don't have desire. You have to describe them. No. I tell you, that is how it is when God sends somebody. He sends people. He uses people. He says, you. And that's why I said, some of you, you see, you are young. There are older ones, older than you. They may not do. You say, I would like it. Now you'll be the one who has been sent and been chosen. And somebody say, and when they see you say, who is this small girl? Who is this and that? Where is she coming from? The chamberlains have started arriving. Because those are the ones that have been chosen. Those who were really chosen, they didn't like it. Yeah. I'm going to send a lot of young people. Many of you people here, people don't have, they don't see that you are great. But God opened my eyes to see that you are great. Yeah. You see, one day I met T.L. Osborne. And he said to me, I showed him a picture of a crusade that we had. He South America. Then he said to me, now you take South America. He said, by then I'll be gone, but you take it. You see, listen, a father can see that a time will come that he'll be gone, but his children, they will go and they will take the land. May you take the land in Jesus' name. Amen. What do you think? It's a great thing, isn't it? Yeah. So when you see a chamberlain being sent to you, remember this story. Say, hey, the chamberlains, Mekuma, Bitsa, Hamona, Bigta, Abata, Zeta, and Kakas. I think you like Kakas. These were the messengers of the king. What is the messenger of the king? Is he not a pastor? The King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. The messenger of the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. I've been going to ask you just to do your small part for all that has been done and everything that is said. Come and play your part now, please. At this time. I'll see you in the room, but I need you to come and play a part now. And you say, yeah. I mean, why wouldn't you go after all that has been said to you? Why wouldn't you do it? So then we should have said it to somebody else. We should have prepared another woman so that she will wear the crown and come and walk here. If you know that after all the preparation that is given to you, you won't come and walk there for just 3 minutes that you should walk and everybody will see you and clap and clap and clap and clap. That's all the king desires. And often what the king desires from you is not much. Let's do something small. I believe that God's will for us is to do something small. Yeah. Thank you, Jesus. Now, Memucan, verse 16, answered before the king and the princes and said, Vashti the queen has not done wrong to the king only. And it's true. When you don't obey God, you have not done wrong only to God, but to the men that were waiting to hear with their hungry mouths and their hands lifted, tell us the way to heaven. You have harmed them. You have harmed them because you didn't go. You didn't come and tell them. It's not only to God who loved you, who you have done wrong, but the people who were waiting to hear, to see, to know. Those are the people that you've also harmed. And that's why he said it's not only the king that has been offended, but all the men in the kingdom have been offended. But also to the princes and to all the people that are in the provinces of King Ahasuerus. Oh Lord. When from Ethiopia to India, all the people are hurt by this particular thing. Just come and walk and show what you've learned. Read the book to somebody else. Read it out. Tell them what you know. You wouldn't do it for 5 minutes of your life, because that part of your life will be like 5 minutes. When you get to heaven, eternity is rolling by. Look, about a week ago, a brother called me. He called me early in the morning. He said, I have seen Elijah and Moses. I said, hey. He said, yeah. I said, when did you see them? I said, I saw them in the night. Yeah. He said, I saw them, 2 of them, Elijah and Moses. So I said, how? He said, as soon as I saw them, I knew this was Elijah and Moses. So I asked him, did you talk to them? He said, no, I didn't talk to them. These guys have been there since years and thousands of years. They are still, because when you get to heaven, eternity, it's just rolling on. Years are going by. So you will look back to this and say, a brief exposure on this earth to earn a position and a brief time that you had to do something. You didn't do it. Some brief existence that you were brought, you didn't do. So that's why in the dream, come and tell us. Give him the microphone. Tell us what you saw. It's a very important vision. This is the vision of the camp, I tell you. He was giving this vision for all of us. Tell us your vision.